Hi everyone. Let's get started with the spectrum. So now we have 40 coins. On top of it, we have two stocks as well, and there are two index. These are US stocks. I took Apple and Microsoft. In future, if there is more requirement, we can add more. These are for samples at this moment. And then Nasdaq, which operates at weekly, and then S&P on 3 months. So when this indicator is available for everyone to try out, there is no end date for the free trial at this moment, because the focus is to see how it performs. Later we'll announce their plan and how it will work out for different user group. So that's not the priority at this moment. Right now what we need to make sure is that this works. This can be effectively used and provide a good data point for us to plan. And I'm going to mute everyone. This session is being recorded, but feel free to ask me any question in between. So let's keep it very informal here. I think you can interrupt me in between. No need to wait for the end, because I would like this session to be more interactive, where you ask question, I'll try to answer. And also, as I said, those who are using the indicator can share the feedback, also share some ideas if they found something new. So I would like to hear that as well. Right? So so this indicator is available. You just have to email me on info@rhythmicanalyst.com with your Discord ID and TradingView username, and that's it. It's like a matter of a minute. We'll set it up, and you will have this indicator with you to start using it. And also I'm sharing the watch list, so you just have to import. It's a simple text file, so you just import using this import feature here. You take you download the text file, import the list, and you will get this list like what I have it here. There are sections, so there are 40 coins that we are supporting at this moment. So you can see the sections for stocks and index and crypto, and in bracket you will see the time frame. So right now all the crypto 40 different coins are available on 1 day and 1 week time frame, and we have added some two index. As I said, S&P 500 is on 3 month because it's about macro, and Nasdaq is on 1 week. Two stocks, Apple and Microsoft, to see how they do. I mean, how Spectrum does with this stocks, just for sample. This is not the focus area, but I added to see can this be applied to stocks as well. So it's just a trial for a couple of stocks. And the Nasdaq, I think it's important because you have seen that the Bitcoin is highly correlated with Nasdaq. So I think it makes total sense, and that's why I added on a 1 week time frame, because if they are moving together, that means keeping an eye on Nasdaq is equally important. We know that the Bitcoin drives the alts, especially when the Bitcoin is down by, let's say, 2-3%, then all the alts would follow, almost all the alts. Similarly, if the overall market is going down, like capital market, especially in this time, we have seen in 2020, March 2020, Feb and March 2020, that Nasdaq and Bitcoin was highly correlated. They are coupled. And again, this is the time for last 2-3 weeks we are seeing that is high degree of correlation. So that's why tracking Nasdaq is equally important to understand the bigger picture. So that's why I added it. Okay, let's get started. And this session is being recorded, so even if you join just now, you haven't missed, and anyone who joins later can also, even if you have to leave, that's all right. This session is being recorded, but let's try to be more interactive, as I said. So feel free to interrupt me if you have any question, because here it's both that I'll share the analysis and interpretation of this indicator, and at the same time you will try to understand how it can be utilized in best possible way. So ADA daily, ADA Cardano, if you look at it, it had a support. It broke the and then bounced, rejected by the blue. We are calling this lines just to give a there are 4 lines. Quick overview on this. There is a separate video for overview, so I won't spend a lot of time in this, so you can refer that, but a quick recap of it, that the blue is the fastest moving, then the yellow, then the orange, and then the red one being the slowest one. And effectively we'll be using these 4 trend lines, blues, and that's why it's called spectrum, because there are 4 different colors. That's the idea behind it, and they'll provide different resistance and support over time, right? And we have 2 time frame, 1 day and 1 week. So how best we can utilize it, let's see, and how it has done in recent time, that's we can also see that. So you can see for ADA, supported by yellow, supported by orange, and then supported by red. Here there was a penetration and a few days of downside move, but then we can also flip it to weekly time frame and see how bad it was, and we can say that the orange was not broken in that case. Yeah, on a weekly, with the weekly gives a big picture, right? The daily is important, weekly is even more important, because the trend is better understood when you track at a higher time frame. 1 day is important to understand what is happening, if there is any major change, because 1 week might reflect little later. So idea is to combine 1 week and 1 day time frame, and then utilize this information for our planning. So that's the idea. So if you look at the weekly, uh, the this is the uptrend of ADA, for an example. The price remained above the blue, and then eventually it landed on yellow. So there were touches on blue, and when after a certain time, like it corrected and then landed on the yellow, and then it took off, broke above the blue. So in ideal situation, you would like to see, when I say ideal means when it has the full strength, you would see the price would be above the blue, blue will be above the yellow, yellow will be above the orange, and orange will be above the red. That's the order, that's the sequence. And if we have that sequence on weekly, that's the best situation, because you are looking at the higher time frame, and that's the sequence. That means that coin has the strongest setup. Then you can rate or grade different coins based on the structure. So for an example, if you look at this phase, everything is ideal because the price is above the blue and so on. The ordering is perfect. Now here you see there is a crossover. The blue has crossed the yellow and so on. If so, more and more line crosses to each other on the downside, you will see the more and more weakness, and that's how spectrum can be utilized. So you can actually measure the relative strength of different coins by seeing, okay, what is the order of price and these 4 trend lines, and that gives you idea that how strong they are compared to each other. So this is also not just from a resistance support point of view, but if you have many coins and you want to see which one is a stronger one, this is the way you can find out. So there are, as I said, there are many ways this data can be utilized. It all depends on how I mean what all ways we can find. So I'm going to share the ways that I have found, and you can share what you have found from your experience. So everybody would learn from each other that way. So fast forwarding, then there was a breakout, and then again a correction. It landed on the blue and then landed on the yellow. It tried to break above the blue if you look at it, but it failed, rejected by the blue, and then again touched the yellow and eventually touched the orange. So it's like a stepping stone, touches the blue, blue try to handle the situation. If it doesn't, if it is not able to handle, then it touches the yellow. The yellow also has a limit. If it keeps touching, then then it goes for the orange. And of course, if the orange is broken, then you can expect that the next level is the red. So this tool or indicator can be utilized for some incremental approach as well. because you know that sometime you don't want to get out fully, right? From your position, you want an incremental approach in your trading. So if you believe in incremental approach, which I believe that no one should be putting everything in one go, and should not exist fully in one go. So like 100% in and out, and 100% in and out is not so recommended, not advised, but it's a best practice that I have learned from my own experience, that um, that doesn't work well. So this different spectrum lines can be very well be utilized that way, that okay, blue is broken, let me reduce something if I want to. So it's a decision one would make, and then say, okay, next is yellow. If yellow is also broken, let me also reduce even more. If the orange is broken, let me reduce more, and so on. So what happens is you're not fully out, and you gradually, gracefully exit if the downtrend continues. So you're not caught by surprise that, oh, you know what, this is a bear market or something like that, if it continues going down, just in case. So this different spectrum lines can be utilized for incremental approach as well. So I'm throwing some ideas, as I said. You can pick up whatever makes sense to you, right? It's not just one method, there can be many methods, but I'm going to share as much as I have observed, and how this indicator can be utilized. So this is the behavior, right? So now if you look at the weekly, I'm going in detail for ADA, but we will see something similar. Then we'll fast forward. We won't spend equal amount of time for each and every coin. So this is not just about ADA. I'm taking ADA as an example to explain how the indicator works, and then we'll go through each and every coin to see where they stand, because then you'll have a better understanding on their health and the opportunity and a potential risk. That will be very easier. Right. So if you look at it, it's rejected. The ADA is rejected by the blue T. I'm calling blue T. These are acronyms. So blue trend, YT is for yellow trend, OT is for orange trend, or RT is for excuse me, RT is for red trend. So these are acronyms I'm using. So if you look at it, the blue has rejected, right? So now how it is useful from planning point of view, you know exactly where the blue is, right? You can find out. So you can set an alert. So that's another cool thing about it, that you can set an alert here. You can set an alert like add alert. You select ADA, and instead of value you select the spectrum. Then you can say I want to set up on BT, blue trend, and I want to have an alert on closing. So you can have this BT, and then you say when it crossing up, I want an alert when the week closes, because this is weekly. Similarly, you can set on a daily. I'm just giving you an example how you can set. So let's say your plan is to enter above the blue, because the blue is a resistance. You could see blue had rejected here, has rejected here. So definitely I'm interested to enter above. Why? Because then the probability of doing well is much better above the blue, because if this has been a roadblock, and if it breaks above, then we can very well expect it will go up to, it's like probability wise, it could go up to yellow trend, right? So in that case, 1 point, let's say 59, whatever level, when it crosses up to this level, whatever percentage we get, we can say at least this much of run is expected. And again, this is going to be the resistance. So it's like you get to know that it's going to give you where it could react, because this was a support. The same line is likely to be a resistance in coming days once it is broken above, right? So exactly. So you can have another alert on this one, YT. You can select YT and select alert. So what that will help you. So once you're alerted for the opportunity, you are again alerted for a potential resistance here, and then you can decide what to do and all, right? So this alert can be set on this indicator like this. So from ADA, I would like to see if it can break above the blue, and then it gives a run up to the yellow. So that's the idea, right? And again, the same story. If the yellow is broken, then this, what will happen is the blue will start going up, because the it will start curving up, and then what will happen is there will be a crossover. The yellow will cross over, sorry, the blue will cross over the yellow in the price. So then it will be a new trend, something like this. And what will happen, when the new trend starts, the blue tend to move away from the yellow. Makes sense, right? Because the blue is fast moving compared to the yellow. So if you look at the relative distance is increasing when the trend starts. When the trend starts, first of all, price tend to move away from the blue. The blue tends to away from the yellow, and so on, right? And what happened when the consolidation happened, they tend to come closer. And when there is a prolonged consolidation and correction, you will see there is crossover. That means there is, we are talking about risk here and a potential correction. So this is one way. This is how you can interpret. So when they are consolidating, they are very close, and when the new trend starts, they tend to fall apart. So here, let's fast forward. Let's say if it breaks above the blue and also breaks above the yellow, which is the next resistance after the blue, we will see the blue crossing over the yellow, and then something like this, what we saw here, could happen over here, right? In that case, and then right now you see this all these lines are flattening, right? They were like going up direction wise, but now they're bending. So if the price goes up, what will happen, all these lines will all again starts going up, something like this, right? You see they were flat here, horizontal, in month of October 2020, right? Now something is similar here, but if the price goes up from here, they'll again try to behave something like this, right? And that's the best opportunity, and that's how you enjoy the swing trading using Spectrum. So see, this is another use case of the Spectrum, where it enables you to do the swing trading, because I believe that day trading is not so beneficial. The more money is with the swing trading. And I also say our approach is middle. People believe in hodling, nothing wrong in it, but I believe in hodling during the uptrend, not hodling when it is downtrend. And many people do not know when the downtrend starts. Many people just keep on hodling. So this, I know that if the asset is good, if the coin is good, hodling works. But the thing is how effectively one can make use of the money. So if the ADA is going down since August, this is, if you're somebody is hodling, there's no value in, there's no growth. And if we are seeing that the levels are broken below, that money can be utilized in some other coin. For example, we saw Luna is going up, FTM is going up. So sometime you can switch one coin to another. So people think that selling is not good. Selling is not just because you don't like the coin. It's not like that. Selling sometimes is for switching. And as I said, hodling is not bad, but I believe in swing trading, because that's where I effectively grow my portfolio, because it's a balanced approach. I believe day trader, no, even I don't believe that everyone should interpret every other day. I believe in swing trading. You ride the wave for longer term, but not blindsided by the hodling mentality. So when I say blindsided, means you need to recognize that the trend is dying, right? And it's not, as I said, it's nothing wrong if somebody's really want to hold. But if there is information, I believe that nobody will hold. For example, if somebody has this information that, let's say, next 4 months your asset is going to go down, nobody will hold, knowing the fact. And it's not about predicting the future, but knowing that there is a potential downside. At least they would reduce, not necessarily get out. As I said, they can reduce by 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever. They book some profit, and that profit can be utilized in some other coin, or maybe sit on cash. There can be many approaches, right? So the point is, I try to bring a balance where we want to hold, but not blindly, right? We want to hold only when it is energized, when the uptrend is really with a full swing, then it totally makes sense. And if when it is deeming, when it is calming down, we can book profit and try to see some other coin. And that's the beauty of swing trading, right? So I think I explained this indicator in detail. This session is being recorded, so if you have missed the first part, don't worry, the link will be shared. Okay, whatever I said are different approaches. These are not financial advice by any mean, but these are best practices that I learned from my own experience. And as I said, there are many ways. These are few ways, and we are here to discover more ways, because there is a chatter group. I'm sure everybody will be sharing their ideas and innovative approach in how we can best utilize this kind of data. So indicator is providing us data for us to plan, right? So that's how it is. So I spent a lot of time explaining ADA for a reason. So now we can go through all the points. So now you know that there are 4 data points. One is the price, then the blue, yellow, orange, and red. And then they move away when they're uptrend. They come together when they're consolidating, and when they are correcting, they cross over on the downside. And each when it is going from when the price is trying to go from down to up, this blue line or whatever line, yellow line, they act as resistance. When they go down, this same line act as support. So you have all this data point, and we have to mix together. And as we have 1 week time frame and 1 day time frame, so you put together and make use of this indicator in best possible ways, right? So this is on 1 week. So 1 week you can see that it rejected by the blue, right? On 1 day, let's have a quick look at the 1 day, and we are going to see each and every coin on both. There is a breakout. So on a 1 day, it shows that it's here there is a rejection by the weekly, but once that is done, then probably it will look for the next resist on a 1 day is this. So you put both the information, both set of information like data point, and then try to make use of it. Okay, but this is positive, right? Of course it's positive because it was trying really hard to break the blue on daily, and it broke above, so that's positive, right? ADA 3S I added just for this is a short 3x coin on KuCoin exchange. I added this for a different flavor. Main focus is spot trading and long positioning, but I added just in case, just to see also that how it behaves with 3x coin. And who knows, if the price goes down, this could be this coin could be, or this coin could be useful. If we look at the 3x coin, it got rejected by, so earlier, this is very interesting, in month of August, September, it started going up, rejected by the blue, rejected by the yellow, it made progress, consolidated, and then went up, rejected by the orange, and then there was a bad rejection, and then it retried, climbed up again, then provide opportunity here all the way, but it was not easy. This is very, very much volatile, but at least it gives you different levels where the point of rejections at different levels. You see, there were 2 major attempts to break above. If this would have succeeded in this, then probably could have provided more opportunity, but at this moment, no. But in future, who knows, if this bounce continues, let's say hypothetically, if the coin starts going down, this short is going to work well, and then what will happen is it will try to move up, but then these lines will try to stop. But this is the first line of resistance, and then once this is broken above, or this red is going to play its role again. So you can clearly see that the most of the opportunity would come once it breaks above 1 point above the red. So it gives you clarity, at least, that okay, this is not the right time, maybe this is the better time, and this is the best time, right? So you can plan. That's the whole idea. You can plan in advance, you can set an alert, exactly. Of course, this is being tested, right? And more we test, more we experience, more we are going to learn about it. And this is new, so I'm going to work behind the scene if I see there is any deviation, and tune and release the updates so you are updated, right? So that's also so I'm going to maintain this spectrum behind the scene, and if it misses anything major in case, then I can always retune it, right, and publish the new version. And it's very easy, you know, that the trading, you just have to turn off and get the new version, you get the email notification, and then you just have to refresh it. That's it. So it's a 1 minute job to get the new one. So that's the idea. Okay, so far so good. Before I move on, anyone got any question, understanding? Let me know. Any basic question? Okay, assuming all right. So let's look at Atom. On this is one day. So Atom broke about. See how it, look at the, so first it landed on, so it, there was like, it landed on blue and then yellow and then orange. Then here, from here it took off. It took off and then rejected by the blue, supported by the yellow, and then again took off and then retested the blue. This was a perfect move in my opinion. Before that, you can see the clear blue had rejected twice. Blue had rejected here, and now he has supported. Now that, so it's in a great position because it is, the ordering is perfect on a one day. Blue, yellow, orange, and red. This is perfect ordering, and the price is on top of it. What it has to do is, it doesn't, it has to stay above it, and then if it continues moving up, then we'll see this lines getting vertical. Right now they are at angle, they'll start moving up as well, and that will be the beginning of a new leg on the upside. So clearly one day the Atom is in a great position, right? Let's look at the weekly. The weekly is also awesome. The ordering is perfect, almost perfect. The blue is about to cross over. So if we get a couple of good wicks on weeks on the upside, then the blue will cross over. In that case, that will be the ideal scenario, right? But look at this one. So here orange supported in then a clear breakout, and this is still above. So all this is support level, as you could see. So you can track this, and of course if it goes below and tries to settle below this, then the orange will come in play again, right? But looks strong. AVX on weekly is on the yellow, so this is to be washed out. There are already two touches here, multiple rejections by the blue, couple of touches here, and this is the third one. So this has to be washed out, and especially when you look at this one, it rejected by the orange. So there were a couple of trials, there's a breakout, and then it really struggled here. The blue is coming down quickly, that's also to be noted, right? So there was no crossover, the blue crossover for the first time a few days ago, right? So that's something we had to watch out here. And so if it continue going down, then of course the red is going to be the support. So at least we know that where it might stop, and you can blend both daily and weekly to get some idea. So the orange is around 62, and here the red is around 68. So you got two support levels, one on a daily, another on a weekly, right? And opportunity wise, you know that it has to break above the blue. Breaking above yellow, orange is not good enough. Why? Because when they are very close, then this is not important. This is little some manual interpretation, because this blue is coming down. The blue had stopped earlier, it is coming down, so when it goes up, the blue is likely to play a big role. So even if it breaks above, so hypothetically let's say it bounces today, the breaking above orange won't be good enough. In my opinion, it has to break above the blue, and so that's ultimately breaking above the yellow would be the best scenario. So this is ideal, but from above blue in this region is could be a good opportunity. EXS bounced off red, and then still it's traveling. uh, it hasn't reached to the blue, so it's in progress. So here landed on orange. What you don't want to see here is breaking below this one. So to me, I would use the weekly for a risk management point of view and make sure that it doesn't break below orange, because the data are limited. There is no red. So that's the thing. On a higher time frame, if the coin doesn't have enough historical data, the red might not appear because that's the slowest moving trend, but it might appear in future when we have enough data, right? So that's why there's no red. BNB landed on the orange. I think this was a really good test, because here also this was the critical time. As you know, this was a major drop, right, last year, then a bounce rejected by the yellow, landed on the orange. This orange is a lifesaver, we can say that clearly, and then it moved up. So from a planning point of view, I would not worry about BNB unless it breaks below the orange on a weekly. Makes sense, right? Because it provided the critical support here and again here. So unless it breaks above the orange, I'm not going to worry about BNB. Of course, it depends on how much tolerance you have, right? But from a trend point of view, and orange is the support, right? So it's supported here, retested here. So who knows? It came down, retest, and go up. Who knows? But so that's why we can identify which are the key supports from a trend point of view that must not be broken or breached. Otherwise, there can be a significant downside. If so, you can measure a potential downside is 40% from here on a weekly. So at least we know, right? So we can always see whether it will reach here or not, but we can this is the maximum depth we could anticipate if the orange is broken below. And at least we know how deep it could go, right? And on a 1 day also, it gives you another support which is around 411. So here you can see the blue, this orange and blue combined, this region has rejected. So earlier the orange had supported, and then this blue is coming down very quickly. So you will see that if the blue is coming down very quickly like this, then that is something to be watched out for any coin. We saw that for EXS, the blue is coming down. AVAX also blue is coming down. So I think we should watch out for that thing. That's why breaking above the blue is very important. In between there are going to be moving averages, but when there is crossover, then the breaking above blue is the first criterion, and of course other lines also, but this is something negative for sure, right? Any crossover like this is negative, and more the crossover, more weakness it shows. Clearly makes sense, right? Here there is one crossover second, and but what will happen if it continues? Even the yellow will cross the orange. That is even worse. And the worst one would be we will see in some of the coins where orange crosses over, then it reverses the ordering, the sequence, where the orange. So eventually in that case, what will happen? The blue will be at the bottom, and then orange and yellow and red will become on top. That's a clear bad trend, and we'll see some of the coins with that kind of setup. So in short, when this blue is coming down quickly because of this correction, so we at least the blue has to be broken above. That's what happened. If you look at in a CELR, blue was coming down quickly, and it tried to break above the blue, and here it got the breakthrough. And then of course this is going to be, the orange was the next one, and now it's supported by the blue. So this is better than a BNB. Why? Because because it broke above the blue. Or I would not say better, but at least not let me see, not better. I should not say better, but I would say this is little ahead in the game that way. because it has seen the worst here. So it's like BNB is like here. So CELR was, so BNB was below the blue. CELR was below the blue in Jan, on Jan 3rd. So CELR is kind of had a bad time ahead, and now it is trying to, recover from it. So you see the life cycle wise, there are different stages. That's the difference. But yeah, if you can clearly see that rejected by the orange and then bounced from of the blue. So of course this becomes your support, this becomes your resistance, but the best level is this one. So breaking above, you can also take opportunity here actually, but then this is your support, and you have to understand that there is some protection needed below this one, right? So this indicator can be used for bottom fishing as well, right? So when it touches the blue, or any line for that reason, in this case blue, to me this is an opportunity. but but having but keeping in mind that this opportunity is not necessarily the reversal, not like this is the bottom. Okay, so but opportunity where it could, because this is a support and there is always a bounce, and a bounce could turn into reversal. But you cannot know, nobody knows that which bounce will turn into reversal. That's why this is an opportunity, right? Not a confirmation that it's done with a correction. And here is, you can blend the incremental approach with the spectrum in a beautiful way. How? So you can plan 3 different entries. Okay, this is one of the best practices. You can say, okay, let me try with something here, then I'll wait for orange to be broken above, then wait for, so you could say, let me enter with little here. If it breaks below, I'll get out with small loss, because I'm not fully I'm not putting everything, so I'm not risking a lot. Then here, second opportunity and third opportunity. So whatever money you have for CELR, for an example, you could plan 3 different entries using spectrum trend lines. So you don't take a lot of risk by taking over here, but at the same time, you it's an opportunity. It gives you a start, not necessarily a confirmation about a big profit, but this could be a start with a lesser, because you're not going all in. So you see, there are different best practices you can put together. You can use the support, you can reuse the resistance, you can use the incremental approach. You put everything together and you go, and that gives you the plan. I mean, to me, trading is not that difficult when there are good data points and control over our mind, emotion. For example, if somebody could assume that this is it, it's not going to go down, and then all in, what will happen if it breaks below? The next one is this. So that's the mind, the psychological factor, and these are the data points. So mind, of course, is very individual matter. So there's no way to say what is the best way. You are the owner of it. You are the controller of it, and so that's on you. And data point, the indicator, we are testing out if the indicator is good. So you put together your plan, and then I think it should work out well, right? If the data points are good, and if you are able to play by your rule, trading rule, make your own rule, then I think there is no doubt that I don't have a doubt that there can be major surprises here, right? So this can be a good use case that way, to explain how incremental buy, support and resistance can be utilized. Let's move on to the next one. CHR was rejected by the blue. Again, it rejected by the blue. Now another thing is, when I say rejected, this is intraday move. So another thing is, there can be penetration. So you see, this is penetration, this is intraday penetration. That anything that is intraday is not a confirmation. You see, this is penetration, this is not confirmation. When you track in a 1 day, you have to wait for day to close to get a confirmation. And sometimes the day closes even just below the line, you can keep watching it, not necessarily you can assume, because sometimes there can be some deviation, you can imagine, right? But we might have some cases, we'll see. In this case, the only penetration, everything closed above the yellow. Here also it touched the yellow, but there could be cases where it might settle just below, or it might settle just above. In that case, you can be a little more watchful, not necessarily you get out, but if it continue going down, then yeah. So that's more practical way to track it. But yeah, I mean, in general, if it closed below, then it's not good. That means it's broken the support. But if it is intraday, it's just penetration. So here I would say this is penetration, this is not rejection. Unless it closes below, then you can say it's rejected today, right? But not necessarily. If the rejection doesn't go deep, it doesn't mean that there is a major risk, right? But if it starts dropping, then yeah, then you can say that. Like for an example, one candle might not decide that it's really rejected, but if you get second one also, then yeah, you can say, okay, this is something. So, and more you use, more you will get. And you look back the past data. That will also a great way to learn, actually, that how it behaved in past, and you can learn from it. That you can simulate, what if I enter here, what if I enter here, how. And so it's like you hide the chart. So another technique, and assume that you enter here, and then and then you open the next candle as if they flipped, and then you ask yourself. So you take any coin, go back in past, hide the present, and do this. Okay, what would I do, how does it look? And then, okay, you decide, and then open the next candle. So you do this, and you will see, you will simulate it, and you will learn from the past data, and probably that can help you even more. This is another idea. As I said, there can be many and many ideas, and this can be another idea how it can be used, right? Okay, so let's see at the weekly chr also rejected by the blue here. And so of course, so it's clear sign that if somebody is interested in chr, it makes sense to wait for blue to be broken above. No brainer. Why to hurry? Correct. There has to be a clean shot, and then like this one, look at that. So there's no need to hurry. What is this? Crow. Crow has broken the yellow and still going down on weekly, and daily, yeah, it broke the red. So this is not broken yet. As I said, this is day is not ended. A few hours left, there can be some bounce, but sometime we know that if there are not much, you never know. Sometime BTC break, bounces, and everything goes up. So there can be, this is just an intraday week, and then it could recover from here. So let's assume that this is broken. Let's say day ends, you're here again. When it happens, as I said, hypothetically, if it is not too far, you can still wait for a few hours and see what it does. You can put a stop loss near, and then you can say, okay, it has broken, but is it like a kind of edge case where it broken but not really going down? So that's something you can wait. And not necessarily because it broke and closed, you blindly close. No, I would say, if it is too close, then give little chance. And you can say, okay, if it closing here, let me put a stop loss just below it. So in case if it goes down, then I'll be stopped out. That's fine. But at least I'll not assume that it may not recover from here. So that can be another practical approach while using this indicator. CRV on daily penetrated the yellow, rejected by the blue. Okay, so I think this is still supported. This might happen. You see, this was intraday. Intraday penetrated, but didn't close below. It closed above. So you don't want to assume that it penetrated. So we'll see many examples like that. So anyway, so we can move on to the weekly and say, Some coins are not having enough data, so that's why it's a little clumsy, not so clean. There's no trend for some of the data because of lack of history on a weekly, especially. Anyway, so here it's right in middle. So opportunity wise, above the blue is opportunity, right, for CRV on a weekly. Now CVS, sorry, CVC to be washed out. Why? Because now it is too, I mean, it's touching this orange too much, I would say, pretty often. Look at that. It's not moving away. We want this to be moving away. It's too close. More time it spends on this, that's not good. So as I said, opportunity can be taken, but then nobody should assume that this is it, and ready to have protection here on a weekly. Also the red is near, so the daily is also, so this is not the right level because it's still going down. When you see start going up, so another practical approach. So what is the difference between this and this? You know what, the direction is down and approaching the red, so I will not try to catch the falling knife. I would rather see this kind of a behavior where there is green candle or a rising candle touching the red or support or this line and then trying to go. Then there can be a bottom fishing. This is not bottom fishing. This is a risky business, right? In my opinion. So what is the best way? Let's assume, let's simulate. Let's assume that this goes down again, touches, and let's say next day it starts bouncing. That's where you would see something like this. You don't see when it is happening this. You
And
wait.
we lost you.
Oh really?
You lagged, yeah, just for a second.
Oh,
1 minute.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there was some connection issue. Okay, I'll recap. So if you look at this is also near the red, but there is a difference between this is being near the red and this is being near the red. Difference is this wants to go up, and right now this is kind of a landing. This is going down. You don't know whether it will stop here. What if it continues going down? So both cases, both are near the red, but the difference is this wants to move up, go up, where this is going down, right, and approaching. So this is not not for bottom fishing, because you want to see it's rising like this one. So this is another approaches. This is another one of the approaches which you may utilize. There are many ways, as I said. Okay, so Doge was rejected by the blue, orange, sorry, my bad, yellow, and now this is not good. See, when it rejected by the yellow, which is fine. Why? Because there's always first rejection, like this one. It rejected by the blue, came down, it tried again. Of course, the second attempt was failed miserably, landed on the red, it retried, and this is fine. What if I didn't want to see breaking below the blue? This is not good. Staying here and then spending time here was ideal, because breaking blue means there is one more resistance to be broken. Forget about the yellow. It has to work hard on the blue again. So it's like resetting the clock. All the hard work it has done to break above the blue with this particular move, it's kind of vanished. That means it's under or below the blue. That means it has to do the same amount of effort to break above. So I would consider this as a negative sign, or something which has dragged the Doge behind, because that's not good, in simple words, right? Because this is where we would like Doge to settle down. That would be a good case for it to go up. This is not good. This is pump and dump kind of a thing. Oh, let's see the weekly. We should not miss weekly. The weekly is still fine. You see the orange supported. So this is not bad. But yeah, if the orange is gone, then there's this is pretty deep one, in my opinion. Yeah, so this is not done deal, so this is still fine on a weekly time frame. So you blend both daily and weekly to see. So you can say, okay, this is boring. There was a good attempt. It's back to square one because it's flattened. If you look at this is still, if you average out, this is still moving horizontally. What you would like to see is somewhere here. Then it makes sense that, okay, it wants to go up. This is useless at this moment. But then there is opportunity breaking above this. Ideally, this is the best level, because it makes total sense that this is where you can maximize when the price is here. No matter what pump you see, people get excited when they see pump, but the real money, as I said, comes not from pump but from following the trend. The money is not just the one thing. Actually, I believe that the peace of mind is equally important. Peace of mind and profit both need to go together. Pump and dump is more like winning a lottery, riding a pump, because sometimes not everyone can time it. More people lose more than they earn, in my opinion, because it's so quick. Usually you cannot time it. So that's why my focus is trend. So Doge is not bad, it's still in the game, but when it is most promising is when it is here. Then it total makes sense, 0.3 or something like that. Then we can say, oh, it really wants to go up and rise. So it's so important. I was talking about hodling mentality, right? So nothing wrong in it. It's not about right or wrong, it's about preference. If I'm a trader, an investor, whatever, I don't believe in investing and trading definition, because it's just matter of how. If you're holding for long, it's investing. Then if you're holding for short, people say traders, but it's not. I see differently. Hodling, I mean, trading, you need trading for both, right? Even if you're an investor, you have to trade it, right? So there's no difference. The only timeline is different, but that's how people, trader means short, trading means short term, investing means long term. Anyways, the point is, to me, this is waste of time. There's no ROI. There's no return of investment here. To me, my money should grow, and hodling. If you're hodling here, there's no return of investment. I could use this money for something else if I'm a investor, trader, whatever. Point is, it's about growing the money. So um, I would like to, if I'm a trader, I would like to take Doge here and hodl, because then I would expect it to go up. This is not where I would buy a lot and hodl, because the trend is still down, or you can say at least this is flattening, this is slowing down, this is no way. So that's the difference of different people think differently. I'm sharing my way of trading or investing. Dot is on a weekly, it has to work hard. It tried a lot to break above the blue, but not able to break above. On daily also, look at this. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful test, you know, because some data points were, we released this indicator in um, January first week, early, I think on 1st of January, 2nd, and these were like past data, but these are present data. So when you see this is very encouraging, because I know that in past it rejected when indicator was not live, but now you see rejection when after indicator is live and running on your laptop. You trust more when you see this kind of thing more often, and this is very encouraging to me, especially in this test phase. This is very encouraging. Look at that. It gives you clarity. It gives you the level where you can say, okay, it was here, it's climbing up, exactly. If this is able to provide this kind of consistency, let's say in future, then you would know that, okay, this is where I'm expecting some reaction. The reaction could be a pause, reaction could be a major rejection like this, right? But at least you would know that where it could react, and that's a big deal in my opinion, because you can be prepared for this level. Now it's here again. The same level is going to give you that data point that, let's say tomorrow, come tomorrow, it starts bouncing. You know exactly where it's likely to react again, because it reacted 3 times, 4 times, multiple times in fact here. So why not again? And you know that the opportunity is here, not here. So, and you can set an alert, and from once this is broken above, this can be expected that the next one is yellow. So this could be a great planning tool also that way. Then I would expect that, okay, now if it breaks above the blue, maybe yellow will come down a bit, so maybe I'll get at least 15%, but not necessarily that's a done deal. After that, my second, so incremental approach, remember, I could get opportunity here, then I could get opportunity above the yellow, I could get opportunity above the orange. If it breaks above the orange, then blue will start moving up, the blue will cross over the yellow, and then if it continues, the yellow will cross over the orange, and so on. That will be the perfect scenario, right? So it will start with breaking above the blue. And so we are looking at different scenarios through different coins. So we are mixing both right now. We are analyzing and also understanding how indicator is performing. So we are validating the indicator as well at the same time, because these scenarios are being tested for the first time, right? So it's like, so it reacted at the red. So this is a good test. You see the bounce, not necessarily this is reversal, but if it was here yesterday I would expect it, EGLT, to pause here or react, and it reacted. It gives me that confidence that, okay, reacted. Now I exactly know that this is my support, and this is where I can protect my asset if I'm holding it, right? That gives you that clarity here. And opportunity wise, of course, the blue had rejected earlier, so let's say it bounces, you know exactly that around this region, whenever it meets, because more, if it spends more time, the blue is going to be even further down. So that's also a cool thing, that there's no stationary level, there's no fixed level, the levels are changing. So this is more dynamic. That way it could provide more accurate levels compared to any fixed dollar price number. So if it bounces tomorrow, then you can say, okay, whenever it meets the blue, that's where so it's likely to react, and so on. And again, opportunity wise, each level, breaking above each level is a potential opportunity, and then you ride the wave. Elon, this yellow has been a lifeline in last few weeks. You can see that, and the blue was a roadblock. So here it rejected by the blue, supported by blue over here, then broken, supported by yellow, rejected by the blue, supported by yellow, reacted near the blue, broke above, supported by the blue. Again, it was not quite able to go up, but moving along with this line, which is incredible, very very handy. Now it landed again, yellow again, a lifesaver, again rejected by the blue. So it's playing around with the blue and yellow if you look at it. So this is boring consolidation, no doubt about it. So again, the yellow is a support. So if it comes down to yellow again, that's not good. You don't want to hit yellow in this case often. So it would be good if it stays away from the yellow, near the blue, then it's good. Otherwise it will look for the orange, and at the same time, if it breaks above the blue, you can expect it to escape. Here it came down, but next time you never know. But again, even it breaks above the blue, but then the blue becomes support. Right now the yellow is support. If breaks above the blue is your support, and then yellow becomes your secondary support. On a weekly it's on yellow. There's not enough data points, so only 2 lines here. ENJ, the most critical lines in the orange, in my opinion, where it provided, and also the red one. Yeah. So as long as it's on these two lines, it's good. So this is a bad rejection here. So the blue is coming down. The blue is a roadblock here. And then the yellow, it couldn't even reach the blue. Here it's blue is nearer, so it rejected. So whatever is nearer, it's going to react. It's not necessarily the blue is the fastest, that's why it will react. So when it is down, whatever comes next, it's going to react. So when it is here, it reacted at the yellow. When it broke above, reacted the blue. Come down, now what is closest is yellow, so that's why it reacted here. Now it came down. Meanwhile, the blue came down. So when it went up, because the blue is the closest one, it reacted near the blue. File is miserable. You see, it's like poor chap is going down for months and months. This is a bear market for Filecoin. This is called bear trend. You see the case, the price is below the blue, blue is below the yellow, yellow is below the orange, and orange is below the orange. This is a perfect case of a bear market. So here, this is very interesting what I said on Twitter last night, that this is very different. Now it is about selecting a coin. It's not about, see, earlier the entire crypto market used to be in bear trend. This is very different time. What I'm seeing here is there are a few coins going through the bear market. Some coins are making all-time high. So it's not about all the coins are going through the bear market together. So I think there's decoupling among the alts, and also some sort of decoupling with respect to Bitcoin. Not fully, of course not, but in future it might happen. It has to happen, and it will happen in my opinion, because they will have their own individual status. They won't be influenced by, like Apple stock cannot influence some other stock in other sector. It doesn't make sense, right? Just imagine if that is the case, then that would be horrible situation in stock market if one stock is driving everything. So glad we don't have that situation, but unfortunately we have that situation. So that's another topic. I don't want to digress, but the thing is, one thing is observed from my analysis, that among the alts now there's decoupling. So that's why you have to pick the right coin, and I think Spectrum is going to provide you the health. That right now this is the worst coin. Why not? I mean, because look at this. If the Spectrum is telling you, and even if without Spectrum you know it, I mean, it's below 30 now. But the point is, using Spectrum you can clearly figure out that where are the opportunities and relative strength. Right. So this is a good case. You can see what is in the weekly. Weekly is not going to be different. It's below blue. Flux touched the blue. Touching blue is fine. Even touching yellow is not a problem. But yeah, this is a significant level. Touching blue is not a problem. But it here orange, touching orange is also fine, because here orange provided the support. So this is still a trend. So as long as it's above the orange, it's all right, in my opinion. Ideally, it should remain above the yellow, ideally, but this is not that bad. But yeah, breaking below the orange is not good. You see the distance between yellow and orange is also coming close. Here they were very far, like, but now they're coming close. And if it continue going down, then the blue will cross over the yellow. So this is definitely an alert, pre-alert, you can say. Right? And opportunity wise, you know that it has to be above blue. So incremental risk management can be really used here. If somebody is holding, if and he could say, oh, let me reduce something if it settles below yellow, and then let's say comes the orange. If it breaks below orange, let me reduce even further, or maybe I'll get out fully because this is too deep. So here it could enable incremental exit strategy as well. Yeah, so there are different ways. FTM touched the blue. That's not good. Again, why it's not good is simply, when I say not good, means it loses the momentum. That's not good, not from a sense that it's in the perfect position, because the blue is on top of yellow, and look at the ordering is perfect and the price is still above the blue. But what is not so good about is it touched the blue so many times here. Look at this. This is so amazing, actually. If you have straight line, you won't get it. This is beautiful. Touches 5 times. This is fifth touch. So I mean, seeing is believing. There is no rule that it touches 5 times it goes down. There's no rule a number of touches. A simple thing is you have to wait for it to see it settles down or not. But the point is, more touches, more time it touches, then it's I mean, weaker it becomes. So you don't want to see that happening. So that's that point of it's not good, especially after doing so much of work here. Nice. This is like erasing whole entire gain from yesterday, and touches the blue. So this blue can still provide a support and a bounce, but if it breaks below, then of course the yellow will be the next level. I mean, it can recover in between also, but support wise, this is the next support. So breaking below doesn't mean it lands here, but this becomes the support. It gives you the lower boundary. In other words, these are boundaries. Like here, when the blue was broken below, the yellow provided the support. So here it could have recovered from here as well, but this is a support. There's a difference. So assume this green candle could have gone, moved up and continue going up and recovered. It landed again. So when it breaks below, not necessarily, it's also, I must clarify, it breaks below, it doesn't mean that it's going to land here. It simply means that even if it continue going down, you're going to see reaction at yellow, because yellow is going to provide you that support, because it has provided the support here. You can expect yellow to protect, but it doesn't mean that it goes all the way to yellow just because it broke the blue. That's not the interpretation, right? Okay, so that's FTM have we seen on weekly? That's yeah, weekly is still nice. It's still away from the blue, which is fine. So this is best case scenario on a weekly and daily. When you see a coin with the price above the blue above the yellow above the, in this order, in both 1 day and 1 week, that means it's the strongest coin. So if you want to know which are the strongest coin, that's the definition as per the spectrum. ICP is not doing well in last few days. It had a good start, right? But it's not. So weekly, it's not able to break above the blue. Probably I'll retune this a bit. I think I need little tuning required here. But there are a lot. The data are not enough in case of ICP. So weekly is difficult. 1 day. So 1 day, look at 2 rejections. So amazing. It was rejected by the yellow, and both this rejection happened after we released the indicator. So this was a good test actually, because we started here. It broke the blue, it went up, rejected, supported by the blue, and rejected again. And now this is not good. This is penetration, but that's not good. Hopefully, if we end up with this kind of a candle where there's a penetration and move up, then it's good. But if it settles below this, then it's not good. So I hope in that case, so opportunity wise, of course, above the blue, it has to be above the yellow. Ideally, if it breaks above yellow, then it can fly really high, because there are multiple rejections. So it will, if it breaks above yellow, that means it should then go for the orange. It makes sense. The next one is KCS on daily is trying hard to break apart the yellow. Yellow was support, and that support is now resistance. Good thing about KCS is the blue hasn't crossed over. The blue was a point of rejection, you see, badly, and then broke below. But it is actually not gone so deep, which is a good thing. But here the orange supported. So if the yellow doesn't let it go, then it could go down and then touches the orange. Yeah, but orange is the main. Look at this, orange supported all the way along, and here it broke, but sticking to the yellow, which is good thing. So of course, this was a potential risk, but now it's climbing up. So here, there's no opportunity unless it breaks above. Yeah. So another thing is, I personally would not assume that because it's too close, I must get in. I would rather wait for this level, because then this is a confluence of two different lines. Then I would take my trade here. It makes sense. It makes sense why I would take here. Because this is confluence. I would not take it here. I would take here. I would simply wait for it. So that's KCS. Next one is Link. Link is not doing well simply because you see what happened is, this was amazing, right? This is amazing. It had a good opportunity. It stayed as well for a couple of days, but it could not stay there for long. Touching this one was also fine. Breaking below this was also fine. But the blue tried to help. The blue was climbing up. Blue recovered because of this move. Blue recovered from this. Blue had crossed below all this trend line, so that's why it was going deep. Then this attempt helped the blue flatten, and then this particular move actually pushed the blue on the upside. It crossed over the yellow. Now when it was coming down, while I was looking at it, I said supporting by the blue. Look at that. When it was going down, actually it is supported by the blue here all the way. You can ignore this point and you will learn that very easily. You can clearly see that which one to be tracked here. When it broke above, supported by, yeah, yellow, you can say yellow. This is because they are very close, but mainly the blue was actually the main support. Blue, and the above blue, above blue, couple of times, and eventually failed. Right. So now, of course, the yellow is going to play the support role, but this was the first immediate support broken. If this is broken, that's not good. Then again, the blue will cross over and go down. But yeah, it doesn't make sense now, because then it kind of ruined all the hard work it has done so far. So that way it's not good. Here also, look at that. So here the main support is the orange. Okay, main support is the orange. There's, I think, not enough data for red to come up. Maybe in future it'll show up. For now it's not. So orange is the must to orange must not be broken for Link from a trend point of view. It is must to I mean it must remain above the orange. This is a lifesaver, right? So this is not good because it penetrated the yellow. The week hasn't ended, so I would not conclude, because this is a weekly chart. It's just penetration. That's not a good sign, right? So if it continue going down, then it's not good. So far it's not that bad. It can bounce up, and then, but the opportunity is here. As I said, 29 plus from spectrum point of view. Opportunity is here, not here.
Where is the RT?
I said that
Holding?
we don't have it because there's not enough data.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I
don't.
missed that. Sorry.
So I think in future when it progresses, RT would show up somewhere here.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because these are maybe, yeah. So on a weekly, not all lines will show up unless there are there's enough history, longer
Makes
history.
sense.
Okay, so but you can somewhere it should be somewhere here, but to me it doesn't make any sense if it breaks below, because that won't help.
Correct.
It's like it's done then. It's done in that case.
No, but the pattern is still bullish, right? Because the
Of-
order of the lines, the
of-
spectrum.
Yeah, it is good. It is good, but it is
Yeah.
like on edge. You can say that bullish. If you're holding, I mean, I won't be worried about this one unless it continue going down or in next few days, in this week. In fact, you don't want to see it approaching the orange.
Correct.
It doesn't
Correct.
make sense. It already had bounce. Fine. It came down retest. Why again? It
Correct.
doesn't make sense. It puts pressure on the orange, and I don't think it will be able to hold it next time.
Got it.
It doesn't make sense. So if I'm a link holder, every day if it's going down, let's say on a daily, I'll keep reducing. I would not wait for link to be here if I'm a link holder. And we can check on a daily, starting from yellow. If it breaks below yellow, that might point of exit. In fact, I don't want to see it further going down. Who cares? So
Yeah. Makes sense.
you use the daily and weekly putting together. I think that can be, when more you use, you'll start getting it. And calls like this will go through new scenarios in future, right? And we'll share our interpretation, so we'll get more idea and understanding about how best this can be utilized, right? This is the
Correct.
first, and yeah, so the call like this will help a lot. Now link is now Litecoin, as Litecoin was beaten up so badly that some bounce like this makes sense. That there is always some kind of a bounce after. You cannot just keep going down. And but the good thing is it broke above the red here, which was a major support, right? So it recovered from that, and now it's here. So if it could stay above the red, that's the first requirement, because the blue is coming down quickly, you see, and the blue is going to be the next resistance if Litecoin continues going up. So I think if Litecoin continues moving up, then somewhere they will meet around 164, 165 level on daily. On weekly, look at that, it bounced off the red, perfect, right? And now staying above the orange. So another thing, it has to stay above the orange. Here it stayed above the orange, here it stayed above the orange but broke, and then supported by the red. Here it cannot break again. It doesn't want, otherwise that's not good. It doesn't, it has to go and approach the yellow. And the real opportunity is here, and the big opportunity here, about this. Okay, MANA weekly is trying hard to break above the yellow, still no success. 2 weeks, and on daily also it gave up. It's now more like approaching the orange rather than, so it tried hard, but now it's moving away from the yellow. So that's not, and then the blue is coming down, so that's a crossover, which is a negative sign, right? So here up to this one, this is good, everything is in right order. This is a negative sign because of this quick move. So next day also it continue going down, then this is this crossover. That means you have to wait for the opportunity. And of course, this is the support, upcoming support. Matic, I see some weakness. Okay, now look at the blue. So it was definitely very strong. It has been a strong one. Here, I think that for Matic, the orange line is the most critical line. Look, because it's supported here, stayed above. This is the most important line, because if this is broken below, then it goes for the red one. And rejection from the blue is not a good sign, because again, this is not so bad because this depth is not so, this is not so deep. So this is still okay. What you don't want is touching the yellow again, because then it might break below. But another thing is, I don't want to speculate. Point is, this is not a risk at all. Even it touches the yellow, that's not a major risk. But yeah, if it comes down to the orange, that's not good. In other words, starting, if it breaks below the yellow, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. So here you must have your alert, in my opinion, on this yellow, and then of course some action on this. Near is could read as this blue, so it looks bad, but it's not that bad actually, as long as it's above the blue. This is nice, because this is another way to learn, use. See, when the price move away too much, and you will learn what is too much. You can clearly observe that the price moved away from the blue, and then if it happens and consolidate, there are two things: whether price would come to the blue, or both will merge somewhere, like it happens. So what happens is, it came down but it moved sideways. It gives time for blue to climb up, and they merged. You see the intersection here. So it's not that from here the price touched the blue. There is a common ground. So what you see here, not necessarily this is going to drop all the way here. What happened here is, it might spend, we don't know, but it could spend time here. Meanwhile, next few days they will again align, and then again it will shoot up like it did here. That can be a possibility. Yeah, but if it is aggressive enough and continue going down, that's not a good sign. You would like it to be stop here, move sideways, meanwhile spend some time here. It's okay to spend 3-4 days and then goes up, then it's all right. What happened here, it could happen again. But yeah, if it breaks below blue, then it's not good. It breaks the momentum, the rhythm. Then it's not good, because you would like to see price remain above the blue, and then this ordering, it should not touch the yellow so often. Because when you see a trend like this, for example, the price is staying above the blue after many days, not in like 3-4 days it touches the yellow. It doesn't make sense. So imagine this particular low is like this kind of a low. You have this wave. You would like to see this wave at least reaching around 25-30, then touches the yellow is fine. But then you would like to see touches the blue comes here, touches the blue, shoot up, touches the, and then somewhere here the yellow would be here, then it touches the yellow, then it's all right. So this kind of behavior you will expect, which is so touching the blue and yellow is fine when it is on uptrend. You will see that in past that happen. So that's totally. But then if it starts breaking yellow also, then that's not good, right? So that's a red flag. So here the good thing about the one is, you see the blue is climbing up. So here again the retest of this is possible, but it might stay here. So if it can spend time here, what will happen? The blue will come up meanwhile. So assume this spends 3-4 days, the blue will come up, and they will the price will touch the blue and shoot up. Okay, so that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, breaking below the yellow, because then that's a problem. There's nothing in between. The weekly strong. Look at the weekly, it's super strong, still above the blue. Even the weekly gives you first support here. If this support is taken down, then it comes to the yellow. So there can be protection here. This is a new coin. Not enough data on a weekly, but so we should focus on daily. Rejected by this two line. Blue is crossing over. There's not enough data for the red here, but red should come up in future. In maybe in a week or two, red line should come up, in my opinion. Maybe within a month, somewhere here. Yeah. So anyway, opportunity is here. This is not looking good at this moment. R&D are really trying hard, but the bad news for R&DR is this: yellow crossed the orange. So you have seen blue crossing the yellow and orange, but you don't see yellow crossing the orange so often, and that's another sign of weakness. And here the blue is rejecting. Look at that. So next is the red one. Not looking good. Yeah, but the good thing is indicator did really well here. Rejected here. All these moves are after the release. Rejected here, and here multiple rejections. So if we are using this, we can say, see here, rejected by the blue and combination of yellow, rejected by the blue. I'm not going to take RNDR unless it breaks above the yellow blue. It makes sense, and that's the visibility it provides. And then the next is this. We know it's likely to react here once broken apart. So this is a clear. This is like it makes very simple, in my opinion, that if you're interested, let's say you would wait for a break, for blue to be broken above. If you are already holding, then you know that this is a support, so you can plan accordingly. Here the next support on the weekly is also the orange, so you can combine. The orange is around 2.7, and a daily support is also at 2.7, both same. In that case, this is super important, super critical. And I mean, it also means that this can provide opportunity. By the way, why are we thinking from a risk point of view? That means I'll wait for it to touch if I'm interested. If it goes up, I'll wait for it to break above the blue. Very simple. If it continue going down, I'll wait for it to hit this one and bounce. How about that? So it can be my watch list from opportunity point of view, based on where it doesn't matter, goes up or go down. I'm going to get opportunity, but not in here. There's nothing here. Now Rose is holding up nicely. So as I said earlier for one of the coins, that if it holds like this, it is possible the blue will climb up and they'll meet and then shoot up. Not necessarily it will go down, but there can be a convergence when they could have a common ground somewhere here in the next few days. Yeah, but if the Bitcoin dumps and this also dumps, then it could come down quicker. Otherwise, you will see both of them will meet each other at some point. So this is strong, one of the strongest. There's not enough. Oh, I think I had. Oh, I clicked the monthly. My bad. Here it's totally fine. It's above the blue, totally fine, absolutely stunning. Sand weekly is middle of nowhere. Support is yellow on weekly. Daily is more important. Look at daily. Sand is being rejected by the blue badly. It's not letting it go, right? So opportunity is here. Clearly opportunity is here, and downside is pretty, this is pretty deep. So I would be very careful with the sand. Yeah. Yellow also crossed the orange here in this case. So this is um this is to be watched out. So here I would, yeah, this is, but still this is making it higher low. But yeah, this is, if anyone is hodling, probably look for this one combined. Otherwise, this could be the deepest level. Ship is not. It tried very well. Yeah, I mean, very hard here. Supported. This was a good test. This was after release, right? So this was a good test. This is also a good test. Now it is basically it's trapped or range bound between the orange and, so it has to break above. The blue is coming down very quickly, and also the yellow is coming down quickly, and this is a confluence. So it's actually simple to me. This is where the opportunity is. This is where the maximum opportunity. I cannot miss. If it, this is where I'll accelerate. This is where I'll pump in. It makes sense because the advantage is it will be above all the trend lines. I'll wait for this opportunity. That would be amazing. On a weekly, not so good, right? It's below the yellow, so not so good. Yeah. SKL, it's moving away from the blue. It's pretty weak coin at this moment. 2 rejections and still moving away, like complete like reverse order, you see. So because it's moving, another fact is because it's further from the blue, that means there could be a potential bounce. So this, it could bounce and try to break above the blue again. One good thing you observe that the angle of this blue is flattening. So this is steeper. Now this is flattening. So that's a sign that SKL is kind of slowing down. It's slowing down. It's not stopped, but it's slowing down. But if it makes another leg like this one, then that it will vanish. I mean, then it will again, this blue will be steeper, and but if it bounces, you will see the blue will become almost horizontal, and then of course it will react to the blue. If I just fast forward and assume that it bounces from here, let's say somewhere here, it will flat, and then you can have an opportunity somewhere here up to this, very clear, and then about this to this to this, and so on. Then all these are like your targets, as if. SLP was rejected by the, oh my goodness, look at that. Of course it's in bear, but look at this, rejection, another rejection. Wow. So this is the point I was making for SKL. So SKL is somewhere here if you want to compare. When the price is too much further from the blue, it tends to come closer. Same thing when the uptrend happens. When the price goes too far from the blue, it tries to meet somewhere. This is another, for the downtrend, the same thing happened. When you look at it, this is a free fall. It doesn't go like this forever. It always tries to come up, and here it touches and then goes down, touches, goes down, touches, goes down. Now when you see the distance is rising here, you see the gap is rising, that means one fine day it will try to retouch again, and this is what it did. Now it retouched. If it breaks above, then it breaks this at least lower trend, blue trend, which is good. But point is, if it could continue going down the way it has been going down, like this, and then blue will come. So there's like this steps will keep repeating itself in that case. So this chain has to be broken. For that, price has to be break above the blue at least, because that's a roadblock. But it gives you that immense information that where exactly I must plan, because it has behaved And more often you see this kind of behavior, more confidence we'll get. This behavior is after its release, so it gave me confidence that yeah, it did well. It passed the test actually that way. The next is Solana. This is interesting. Supported, 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 supported. Look at it's like a staircase. Steps, right? Rejection, 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 and now retest kind of. To me, it's approaching a deadly level because I mean it can retest this and bounce off. Of course, it's not that it's going, but this is a critical level in my opinion, right? Whatever level 130 range is a critical level. And of course, then if it can bounce, then the next one is pretty high. There's a huge opportunity. So this is a bottom fishing opportunity. Once it touches, not here, it's falling, so it's not a good idea. But here, and if it starts bouncing, that's an opportunity, provided it maintains this support with that understanding. But yeah, we can plan. Look at here, it landed on the orange, right? It landed on the yellow here, it landed on the orange. What you don't want to see is breaking below 130. So here the good thing is both the daily and the weekly is telling 130, 129, 131. This approximately 130 range is a critical level. So on a weekly, the downside is up to 90. If that 129, 131 band is broken, on a daily, 130 is the support. So you can use both. Of course, you don't want to wait to 90s. It's suicidal. So you would rather use this, right? Preferably anyone. It makes sense. Solana, that's why you see that this is still a downtrend. Interestingly. So this is very important. This level is so critical. Wow. Sushi. Yeah. Awesome move. Rejected by the orange. Came down. Rejected by the yellow here. Right? So for sushi, any opportunity comes when it breaks above yellow. And then above. Well, this is very simple. Each level, once it breaks above this level, then there's opportunity. So if you are a conservative buyer, so this is another element. Some buyers are very aggressive. Some buyers say, okay, you know what? Let it break above the blue. Let it break above the orange. Then I'll ride because I don't want to do in and out. Then the best level is this, of course, comparatively. Else there's not much in a weekly. Yeah, this is amazing trend. If you look at the trend is still down. It's still below the blue. Once the weekly is below the blue means below the fastest one. That's not good. It has to be here. So that's why $12 makes sense, right? So if you weekly saying here is $12, daily red is telling this is $12, 12 plus. So weekly and daily putting together, if you are looking, if you're a conservative kind of a person who says, I don't want to get into this mess of in and out, I want a trend, I want to see a trend going up, then this is for you. Otherwise, one can say, okay, let me start with here, add more. That's choice, but there's no certainty here. And first of all, we don't know when it will break about this. So there are different approaches. I'm throwing some ideas because everybody has different style. And so Syscoin, newly added coin, still it's good, penetrated, not broken on the blue, one of the strongest one at this moment. There's not enough data, still it's above the blue. There's not enough data for the weekly, so we should stick to the daily. Theta is at a key level. I think it very significant level. The worst thing is so what happened, the blue crossed the yellow and also orange and also touched this. It cannot, this is like critical level, no doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt about it. You know how much theta gain? Have you measured? I mean, some of the coins were crazy in terms of percentage gain. From March 2020, from the all-time high, it went up by 46,000 percentage. 46,000 percentage. My goodness, this was. Even I could not take advantage in between. I mean, some coins are not at all available in the US. Anyways, I should not talk about it. It's one of the pain areas being in the US. Anyway, so yeah, so this is very critical. And also on the orange, the red should be here. It's not showing up. Not good is the blue is almost touching the yellow. Not good. Yeah, so here the blue was a roadblock. Yellow supported for a while. You see yellow supported for BNB and other. You will see those supported. Here it's supported broke, rejected. So this is SR flip, support resistance flip. We can see the yellow was a support and the yellow became a resistance. Now the orange line is a support. And so this is super critical. So to me, if this is taken down, then the theta is gone. The trend, then it's already, since this, I'm still considering this is consolidation, but breaking below last week's low is actually entering into a bear market for theta. Yeah, because then it will make a new low on a weekly, which is not good. Right, so still not last week's, but I would consider this one, July. It has to stay above July. It should, otherwise it's not good. So maybe some tolerance here. Yeah. Anyways, so that's theta. We are landed on orange on weekly. It has to break up by yellow for opportunity. On a daily, it's struggling. Rejected by the blue, rejected by the blue, rejected by the orange. Retesting could retest this level, but yeah, then that's not good. So opportunity is here. In short, opportunity here. There's no risk here, in my opinion, because but yeah, if it starts coming down to this level, then there is risk. Then that's not good. Still, it could bounce from here. See, the red provided support here. And this wave is identical to this one. I like this one. All the way here supported. All the way here supported. So you don't want red to be broken, because then that's not good. So the red is the most critical one, in my opinion, for VRA lovers. This is so messy. I don't know what to say. This is spaghetti. So to me, I added because okay, I wanted to take one DeFi, and also I have requested, so got a suggestion for this. So both ways. Anyways, sometime we should take some coin which are very challenging, and there is no other challenging than this one, I must say. It's so ugly looking at this moment that I don't know what to conclude or interpret. But I would say there's nothing unless and until it breaks above red. As simple as that, because it's so messy. Here it's so intertwined. Look at this. This is like a spaghetti junction. So bad. Oops. Everything. This is like chaotic. This is really like churning. Yeah. Look at the price action. Very hard. Very hard. There's no trend here. It's just messy. Wow. Messed up coin. Yeah. So opportunity is somewhere here. This is, but it's a good, as I said, we should have a flavor where it is really ugly, then Okay, we are done with everything in that case. So we are done with all 40 coins. It took a lot of time, but I hope this was very helpful for you guys. I'm going to stop the recording and then open for questions. Thanks, everyone.